This is an Audi Q7 here with a 3.6 liter engine. As you can see, I'll be removing this engine because we have a problem with this engine. The piston number 1 is not having any compression. I already did compression test and it doesn't have any, so I'll be doing timing chain and head gasket, see what's going on with the piston. So let's get started. See? Alright, this is a T25 here for all the bolts and the undercover here, as you can see. Alright, I'm gonna be working here on the front since I'll be removing the front end of this vehicle because I'll remove the engine here from the front of the car and not from beneath. I don't like to do that, too much work. And I'll be using a triple square here for some bolts here in the front. And I'm also using this T30 here. All of these bolts here in the front is very easy. And now I'm gonna be removing the splash guard here. The splash guard, and this is very easy. The front end is very easy to take it out. There is a lock here for the radiator. I'm taking it out right now. This is a T40 here. I'm gonna be using this one to remove the AC pipes kind of on top of the fan right there, but make sure before doing that there is no free in the AC compressor. And now I'm gonna be removing this hose here, this one that you can see here, and this one here in the bottom. I already took off the front end from here. The bumper, as you can see, is only clips and some bolts, small bolts, that's it. And then you pull it out. And then we're gonna do the same here on the passenger side. As you can see, just remove this bolt under the splash guard. T25, basically all of them. I took out the headlamps first, but you don't have to. They can come out with the entire front end, so don't worry about it. And there is a T25 here, and one here too, and another one here on the bottom to detach the front end. Once you detach the front end, you'll see these hoses, take them out, and also this connector here. Alright, this is how it looks like without the bumper. And take out 4 16mm bolts here, 2 here on the bottom and 2 on top, on the driver and passenger side. And also you have a 2 T25 here, as you can see, to detach the front end from here. Now on the passenger side here, the 4 16mm bolts here on this side too, you have to take them out too. 2 10mm bolts here for the hood latch. This one is coming from the inside, as you can see. You have to get it out from the other side. And once you detach the hood latch, you just spray it out here to detach the cable. That's how it looks like. And then we remove this wire harness from the other side on the front end. Also detach this big hose here from the radiator fence. And also you have to disconnect the AC pipes here in the corner too, as you can see. These are 10mm triple square bolt. Alright, now these ones are T25 here, big mess of hoses here and everything. These are the 2 13mm bolts for the alternator here too, I forgot to mention that. Alright, and this is a big mess, as I said here. That's a T25. I have it right there ready to remove the bolt because in this area here, as you can see, that's the fuel rail right there beneath all this mess here, so it's not easy to take this out. Also, eventually this AC pipe has to come out too to have access to the motor mounts, but that's going to be a little bit later eventually. Alright, I already removed the intake manifold and also these fittings here for the high pressure fuel pump. Now this fitting here on top for the high pressure fuel pump is 17mm, and this one here is 14, this one on the bottom. Here on the passenger side, I already removed the 12mm bolts here for the exhaust pipe. Alright, and I'm gonna be removing those bolts that hardly can be seen there. They are 13mm bolt. It's a bracket that is attaching this holding this exhaust manifold here, the exhaust manifold, exhaust pipe. I'm gonna see if I get the bolt on top, the 13mm bolt, this one here, from here. Let's see if I can do it. Oil level sensor right there. Take this 10mm bolt off. Another 10mm bolt right there. I'm removing the bolt here for the starter, for the bracket there and the rear. It cannot be seen from here, very tight area. I'm trying to have a better view here with my camera and light. That's right there, that is a nut, a 12mm nut. I just took it out, as you can see. I removed the one that is on top, but I still need to remove the one that is in the bottom. That is the bracket right there, as you can see, and this is the nut I removed, but there is one beneath there too. Alright, beneath the truck here, this is the transmission oil pan, just to guide you where I am, and that is my extension here, and that's the drive shaft. This one here, as you can see, and because I want to have access to the bolt on the starter, because no way I can access it from the front. Alright, I lose it already, and I use the wobble adapter because that's the best way to go. Alright, and right now I'm removing the bolt from the flex plate to detach the transmission from the engine, and these bolts are very tight, by the way. They are T55. Here is the first one, as you can see it. And this is a 27mm bolt here for the crankshaft pulley. I'm using this big ratchet here, half drive, and I'm holding it on the exhaust pipe, as you can see. I'm using it to lock it right there so it wouldn't turn when I'm taking the bolt from the exhaust, from the flex plate from the transmission. And now I'm gonna be removing these 3 bolts here for the fuel rail. I already lose them to save some time. And this in the corner here is the high pressure fuel pump. As you can see, I have to remove the bolts. They are T30, one here and one in the bottom and one on the other side right there. So I'm gonna take it out. I'm gonna take them out. Now, to remove the 3 bolts on this high pressure fuel pump, you have to remove a lot of stuff here. Because they are buried with a lot of stuff here. There is one here, 1 bolt on this side, and where I'm touching right now, and one on this side in the front and one on the bottom. So 3 of them. So make sure you put everything aside. You have to remove hoses and everything. It's a big mess here on this engine. Also, this vacuum hose here, very small, as you can see. It goes all the way around the engine from one side to another. Just be careful not to break it. Now, another thing in this engine, you're gonna find some clamps that are in a terrible position. Very hard to get them with pliers. So do your best when it comes to that. If that is going to be your case, like mine, I have found some clamps here that there is no way to grab them with pliers. So I have done my best. Like this one, for example, here. I end up getting it with a plier that I did not have faith on it. And a 99-cent tool, 99-cent plier. And this one here, as you can see, very cheap plier, and this is the one that helped me. I have expensive pliers and they couldn't help me at all. So do your best when it comes to this. I had a hard time accessing this clamp here because the flaps were on the other side too. I want to secure this transmission before taking out the engine. I have put this piece of wood here between the cross member and the oil pan of the transmission here, because when I'm installing the engine back, I don't want to have a hard time lining up the holes between transmission and engine. Now, that bolt right there between the transmission lines and the transmission, as you can see, I completely unbolted already, but I will not be able to bring it out because the head of the bolt is hitting the line, so it's gonna stay right there. It's unbolted already. And the bolt on top right there, this one, as you can see, I took it out from the top, not from here. It was easier. Alright, see these 2 bolts here, I already removed them. This is beneath the transmission here, as you can see, and this one here on the other side, this one here, as you can see, I'm gonna remove this from the front of the car, not from here. Alright, I was talking about this bolt here between the transmission and the transmission lines. Is going to stay right there, but I unbolted already completely. You have to use wobble adapters to get it because the space between the transmission lines and the transmission doesn't let you to have too much access. But it's completely unbolted, so you will have to stay like that because the head of the bolt is hitting the transmission line, so you cannot come out, but no problem anymore. Alright, now I already removed the 2 bolts from the rear there. I did it from beneath the vehicle right there, and now I'm removing the 2 in the front here for the starter. Alright, without the starter right there, see the one on top? That's the one I removed from the rear, and this one here in the bottom, I removed it from here, from the front. Right here. This is 17mm bolt from the bottom bolt on the starter. As you can see, I already took out the starter, and the other one here on top is 18mm bolt. Back here on the front, the motor mount, T25 bolt. Alright, this one here, as you can see, it looks beautiful for me. It looks fancy. At least this thing here, these are the T25 here. It goes like that on top. And for the other bolt on top, this is a 12 triple square socket. This one here, as you can see, for the motor mount. Alright, and this is the transmission here, just to guide you, and you can see the position of the bolts and the transmission. As you can see, the one when you remove the ones on the starter, you have to work on the rear of the truck and also on the front. And this bolt here on top is the most difficult one among all of them. And this is the torque specification for all of the bolts and the transmission here. Alright, I'm gonna start removing the valve cover right now. Here, these bolts in the front are very easy, but it has some by the firewall that are not easy at all. For this one here, I'm gonna be using the wobble adapter. This one here, wobble adapter is much better. Alright, I'm getting ready to remove this engine here. I want to apologize. I couldn't record when I was removing the bolt in the rear for the transmission and engine because it was very uncomfortable. Basically, you have access to all of them from the rear. The one on the left hand side and top is the most difficult one, but you still can remove it. Alright, this is the transfer case here, as you can see here, and that's the drive shaft, as you can see right there. And this is a 16mm bolt here, two of them, but the other one is broken. So I tried to remove the bolt right there, the 16mm bolt, but it's threatening to break. So I removed the cross member from the sides, two bolts right there, as you can see, and two on the other side. So I don't want to mess with this bolt here. Instead, I'm gonna be removing this one, as I said, the cross member here. Two 16mm bolts here on this side and two on the other one, and the other one here, as you can see right there, to push the transmission to the rear of the truck. And I'm gonna be using this cart here from Harbor Freight Tools. I'm gonna be holding the cross member with the transmission and everything here at the same height that it is right now. I want to keep everything as the way it is. Alright, first I have to remove these 13mm bolts here, these two for this bracket, the exhaust pipe. Alright, back here in the front, that's a big flathead screwdriver to pry out the flywheel out of the transmission. Alright, pulling out the engine little by little, and I check the wire harness. There are connectors on the rear. You have to check for those connectors on both sides. Make sure you don't stretch any wires or anything like that. As I'm bringing it out, I'm checking the wires in the rear. There is a triple square right there, a bolt triple square that is holding the small bracket for a hose right there. So I have to take it out before I keep bringing the engine out. That hose is attached to the transmission and also to the engine. That's why I have to be careful. And there are also connectors still, so pull it out a little bit and check again. Let's see, this is the starter here. See these two nuts? You have to get them from the rear of the truck. This is the connector here for the camshaft position sensor. I just disconnected because I'm getting more space in the rear between the firewall and the engine because the engine is coming out little by little. See these connectors here? So always do things carefully. Alright, this is how it looks like a little bit from far away. As you can see, it's a big mess here with these engines. Terrible design. And as you can see, we can see some space here in between the firewall and the engine already. And I'm already painting some devices here and taking out some more connectors and stuff like that. This is 8mm socket here, a triple square. I'm gonna be using it to remove this bracket here that is holding some wire harness, some hoses and whatever here, a lot of stuff here in the rear. Make sure you don't stretch wires or anything. What I'm doing is pulling out this engine just 1 or 2 inches and then check again to see what something is stretching in the rear. So always careful with that. And this video was part 1. Thanks for watching the video and God bless you all.